listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. All information and resources are based on the opinions of the host unless otherwise noted. This podcast may contain some quotations, images, and/or excerpts from copyrighted material. These uses fall well within the copyright doctrine of fair use. This is the News Report, and I am your host, Tony. Welcome to all my new listeners and all of my day ones. You are listening to the News Report, so let's talk news. What we have today in your headline is Golden Dawn. Now, this leadership was found guilty of running a criminal organization. It really makes you wonder how many others are. Now, the leaders of Greece's neo-Nazi group, Golden Dawn, were found guilty today of forming and running a criminal organization under the cloak of a political party. Now, this was in a landmark decision held as victory for democracy and human rights. So how did this all come about? Well, following a marathon trial lasting 5.5 years, yes, I said 5.5 years, an Athens court deemed that crimes by Golden Dawn members, including murder, attempted murder, assault, and possession of weapons, were not the actions of individuals operating on their own initiative. Instead, they were directly planned and ordered by a party leadership that employed violence to eradicate perceived enemies. I know that's a mouthful, but that's what's happening. Now, 18 former party lawmakers, including leader Nikos Makalos, I'm sorry if I butchered your name, a Holocaust denier who funded Golden Dawn in the 1980s as a neo-Nazi organization, were among those found guilty on today. Individual sentences are to be announced in the oncoming days. Now, surrounding court, they had a very strong police presence, and it left as left-wing parties, trade unions, and anti-fascist and human rights groups staged rallies to coincide with the verdict. Protesters and riot police then clashed after the ruling. Police said a peaceful crowd of at least 20,000 people were dispersed, but minutes after the verdict was announced, a smaller group of around 600 people attacked officers with stones and Molotov cocktails. So this got kind of out of control here. Now, Prime Minister Kyriakos tweeted that it was a truly historic day for Greece, democracy, and the rule of law. After the Greek people voted the neo-Nazi party of Golden Dawn out of parliament in the last election, today the Greek justice system convicted its leadership of operating as a criminal organization. The Golden Dawn leaders have denied the charges from the start, claiming they are victims of political persecution. Well, like I've heard in the past, hit dogs will holler. So there you go. Now, a dozen of others, party members and alleged associate, have been convicted on charges that range from murder to perjury. Most of these are linked to violent attacks between 2012 and 2013. They include the fatal stabbing of popular anti-fascist hip-hop singer Pavlos Physis and attacks on immigrants and left-wing activists. The decision concludes over 450 days in court and hundreds of testimonies and hours of data collected from the cell phones and laptops of those arrested. These include photos of Dawn Golden Dawn recruits at training camps posing with assault weapons and giving Nazi-type salutes. There is, there is clear and unequivocal message in this landmark case that hate crimes will no longer be tolerated, as well as the decision can also have a significant impact on preventing racial violence in the future. So that is pretty much what we're hoping for. Things that are taking place in the past, it always comes to the light, and you end up getting more evidence and to lead you to the truth of what's going on. And that's always good because there can be change when that takes place. Now, a lawyer from the prosecution's team has described the trial as the largest court hearing of Nazis since Nuremberg. The trial started in April 2015 with close to 70 members of Golden Dawn charged under the so-called Mafia Clause. Among those present were victims of racist violence, some displaying knife scars, waving banners with words, "They are not innocent, Nazis in jail." Rich in symbolism, the verdict offers a moment of peace in a country still healing from the wounds of its recent economic and political past. Now, this is turmoil that pushed voters to extremes, and you can see how that would happen. Now, the verdict is a strong institutional embankment against violence. It shows the democracy disposes instruments and institutions which can punish organized totalitarian, anti-democratic practices and criminal actions. Pardon me, my mouth was a little dry. Now, the turmoil offered little hope for a country feeling increasingly betrayed by its political leaders, its European peers, and international institutions. These people definitely need healing, and this coming about will give them something, at least a silver lining, and it'll show that, okay, yeah, there will be change, be it slow, change nonetheless, and we can only hope for more. We can only hope for more. Now, it's true that with all the evidence they came up with, Golden Dawn's words and actions became more openly extreme as its popularity grew. I mean, somebody's going to see something, somebody's going to hear something, and so it's going to lead to somebody saying something. Especially when you have pictures and all these things, as well as the incidents themselves and people feeling it. I mean, the reports of street violence primarily against migrants, but also political opponents and members of the LGBTQ community became frequent. Torchlit rallies grew, with supporters raising their arms in fascist salutes. Now, Europe's far-right parties were quick to distance themselves. Instead, the Golden Dawn brand, with the logo closely resembling the swastika and almost identical slogans to those once used by Hitler Youth. Now, youth became increasingly attractive to the ultra-right wingers from around the world who flocked to Greece to learn from the party's methods. But the murder of 34-year-old fascist rapper who was stabbed by a self-professed Golden Dawn sympathizer in Athens back in 2013 in September led to widespread shock among the Greek public. A swift crackdown followed with the party's leaders and lawmakers arrested and placed in pretrial detention. They denied any direct links to the rapper's murder, as well as other attacks, and claimed to be victims of political persecution. I mean, like pretty much anyone who gets caught up, they're going to find an excuse. They're going to want to blame it on somebody other than themselves. But it just goes to show that the violence is not acceptable and it won't be tolerated. And the more people speak up and say something, the quicker we can actually get rid of all this pain, hurt, racism, violence, death, We can get rid of all of that. And that'll be a brighter day. Now, take care of yourself. Be careful out there. Try and have a great day. And let all information not depress you, but encourage you to take proper steps to be safe, aware, and you can function properly. So until next time, this has been your news report, and I have been Tony Williams. There's always another story. You have been listening to On One Radio, the talk show podcast station, bringing you the current events and issues. Thank you for taking the time to listen to my